Your number 2, Steph Michella.
It is the Hart Foundation. I mean, Bret Hart is my favorite singles wrestler of all time. But, there's just one other team above them that is just too good to not put number 1. But the Hart Foundation, just, the perfect complement to each other. Bret Hart being the technical wrestler to, and then Jim Neidhart being the powerhouse, and then Jimmy Hart is the manager. It was just really well done, and their styles meshed so well together.
All right, your number 2.
I know I'm going to catch a little flack for this from Dave Simon on my number 2, but I've got the Road Warriors. Road Warriors, and I know he said if they are not number 1 on your list, then something is wrong, but I've got a different tag team that meant a little more to me at the time that I was watching wrestling. So I'll give the Road Warriors the props, but they're sitting at number 2 on the list for me.
I thought you were serious when you said the Freebirds were number 2. I mean, you being from Atlanta, their famous song, Bad Street, Atlanta, GA, I mean... I thought...
I think I've disappointed you on 2 occasions here.
Yes.
Sorry, Dave.
Yes, very disappointed you're not more of a Freebirds fan.
Your number 2.
My number 2 team, kind of in the same vein as you went for your number 3, the Quebecers. Growing up as a wrestling fan in Montreal, seeing a tag team called the Quebecers, which I thought was crazy then, and I think is even crazier now. You'd never see that. But Jacques Rougeau and PCO, Pierre-Carl Ouellette, they were fantastic. They were WWE Tag Team Champions. I was a huge fan of the Quebecers. We're not the Mounties. That whole theme song that they had, they were tremendous. So my number 2 tag team, as far as my second favorite tag team, they hold a special place in my heart, the Quebecers.
I have a tie for number 2. 3 teams, actually.
Oh, boy.
Harlem Heat.
Yes.
They were solid.
Yes.
I'll never forget Mean Gene mistaking Booker T for Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray, what do you think about your match? It's Booker T, sucker, get it straight. And Mean Gene's like, sorry. Of
course, Booker T's famous promo to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that was pretty tough.
As one of the members of Harlem Heat.
Yeah. Harlem Heat that Demolition, Axe Smash, when they first came in as bad guys, they were awesome.
Not with Crush. No Crush. And then Hart Foundation as well, with Jim Neidhart, Bret Hart, when they first came together as a tag team back in the late 80s. But Harlem Heat, though, that Mean Gene, you can YouTube, though, that Mean Gene where you're mistaking Booker T for Stevie Ray was classic. He felt so bad. Your number 1 tag team?
Oh, it's easy one. The Road Warriors. You'll never find like a cooler tag team than them. Just the big build they had, and they were just, they were real badasses, and you really just loved them. And I think probably the most done move by kids growing up, a tag team move, was the Doomsday Device, kids on the school playground. I wouldn't recommend that, but I mean that was the one move that everybody wanted to do on the playground. So I mean it was just great stuff.
Eric Thomas, your number 1 tag team.
You want to talk about a couple of badasses, Shawn Michaels and Triple H as D-Generation X. I know the group was a little bit bigger than that, but those were the 2 at the forefront. They did it for me. They had the theme song. They had everything. If you don't like it, I got 2 words for you, and you know what they already are. D-Generation X is my number 1 tag team of all time.
I'm sure Eric Thomas said that to his principal.
I'm so disappointed in you, Eric Thomas. That's terrible. Unless you're talking about original DX, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, when Chyna was their bodyguard?
Yeah, no. I'm talking about back in the day when it was Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg Jesse James. Those D-Generation X days.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H were never together when that happened. Shawn Michaels left, and then the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn joined DX, but they were never in DX at the same time as Shawn Michaels.
Got my details all out of whack.
Get it straight, Eric Thomas. All right, number 1 tag team. Before I get to my number 1, I got to run down my list really quickly.
Go ahead.
All the tag teams that I was debating to put in this list. All right, I've got the Brothers of Destruction, the Head Shrinkers, Money Incorporated, the Outsiders, Harlem Heat, Edge and Christian, the Hardys, the Dudleys, the 2-man Power Trip, Triple H and Stone Cold, the Ultimate Maniacs, Macho and the Warrior, the Nation of Domination, the Natural Disasters, the New Age Outlaws, Demolition, the Rock and Sock Connection, the APA, and the Mega Powers, brother.
What about Power and Glory, Hercules and Paul Roma?
They were not up there as some of my favorites.
Very underrated, that tag team. Your number 1 tag team is who, Dave?
They're the number 1 tag team of all time. There is nothing like the Legion of Doom. People still talk about when you get a giant ovation in professional wrestling. It's called a Road Warrior pop.
Yeah.
That's how big they were. Nobody got a bigger, louder reaction than the Road Warriors, greatest tag team of all time. hands down. The spikes, the face paint, the haircuts, Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk, they were the best.
I will have to agree with you. The Legion of Doom were my favorite tag team growing up as a kid. Honorable mention, the Conquistadors.
Yes.
The Conquistadors were very classic as well. So
Eric Thomas, are you going to reconsider here? I mean, 3 out of 4, we picked the Legion of Doom as number 1 here, brother.
And you play that theme music, and I get chills on the back of my neck. It makes me want to go out and put a pile driver on somebody. So I'll take them as number 1 all time. Yeah,
excellent. Finally, before we end off the show, Seth Michello, what did you learn on today's episode of Game Points?
I learned that Dave Simon isn't impressed with Eric Thomas's picks.
Fair enough. And Eric Thomas, what did you learn on today's episode?
Don't ever go against the Road Warriors.
Dave Simon, what did you learn on today's episode?
Your knowledge of 80s and early 90s wrestling continues to impress me, and I'm very impressed with Mokan.
I learned that Jeremy Prophet beat Scott Steiner not once, but twice.
For the second time in his career.
Scott Steiner is a jabroni compared to Jeremy Prophet.
He's a real Brooklyn brawler now.
That's right.
He is.